For those with good taste.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's your boys from For Those With Good Taste. I'm Matt. He's Lenny.
Cheerio, mates.
And we're back here in Good Taste Studios feeling all types of... I don't even know what word to use right now, bro.
I think the word I would use is ejaculating, dude. Because you just ejaculated all over this room before we turned the camera on.
And let's just say I'm ecstatic about it, right? So if you don't know, because I surely didn't know.
Matt just found out, like, if you could... Before we tell you what it was, like if you could envision what a little kid looks like on Christmas when they still think the big guy's, the real thing, the real deal.
Like
you know
he
who
just
I'm
left
talking
the
about
house.
At home, people.
Yeah. We're not going to
Can you
ruin it
wink
for
with
you.
both eyes? You can. That's pretty sick, dude.
Yeah.
Congrats. I winked with my left eye there. I don't know if I normally do.
See, you're feeling
both feel
so
weird.
good that it came out naturally for you, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I certainly do feel like that kid on Christmas morning.
Congrats, bro.
You look under the tree, everything that you could possibly ask for.
What was the toy that would have made you this happy?
Well, man, and props to, we don't give them enough credit. Props to Netflix for being able to give me this joy right now. It's like when you're thinking about breaking up with your girlfriend and then she buys you a PS5 and you're like, all right, I guess I got to stay.
I got to play Warzone.
All right. For those of you who don't know what the hell I'm talking about or what he's talking about, 4 weeks ago, a happy month ago, Netflix dropped a trailer for a movie called Dynasty Warriors. And if you are not familiar with that, it is one of the most underrated video games of the last 20 years. 1 through 9, PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 4.
Fucking 9 of them.
They were incredible. And I would challenge anybody out there.
When was the last one out?
The last one that came out was 2017, 2018.
Okay.
And it wasn't that great.
All right.
However, 1 through 9... Before that, absolutely fantastic.
Could you give me a quick synopsis as a person who, I'm living vicariously through you? It was really, really like great. I told you before we got on here, I was feeling a little low T, and then I saw how happy you got, and it kind of kicked me out of my shell a little bit. So
that makes me happy.
Just kind of let me know, because I think it's an RPG. No, is it like a turn-based RPG?
That's exactly what it is. It's based in early Eastern China, where the Three Kingdoms were a huge storyline between Wu, Shu, and Wei, right? And they've made video games about it. They've made documentaries. They've made books. There's some movies like Red Cliff and the Three Kingdoms that are loosely based on it with their own little romantic spin.
Those are movies?
But yeah.
Dubs or subs?
They go both ways. Red Cliff, I think you can actually watch on Hulu right now. But it was just crazy to see. Because if you watch the trailer, I told you a bunch of times, like, this looks fake. Because it genuinely looks like the video game does in every way it could possibly. You're wielding weapons.
That, like, that's a positive thing, right?
For me, it was, because that's kind of what made me fall in love with the game. When you've looked at a couple of movies that are associated with the franchise Romance of the Three Kingdoms, it's always very lovey-dovey. Oh, I got to kill this guy so that I can get my girl. Now... we're just slicing and dicing, baby, and you're getting the best out of the video game.
It looked like a better than average, like, looking Sci-Fi Channel movie, I think. And that's not an insult.
No,
because
I understand that.
Generally, I've watched several of those in my day, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like enough to. Some of the shit looked pretty cool.
I would say graphics were crazy.
Like I think some of the stuff was like, oh damn, I could watch it. I just always go back and forth on like the subtitled movies because I'm a lazy American, and like,
yeah, I can certainly understand.
So that's the tough part for me, and where I'm hesitant to be like, I'll watch that, but it looked good, man.
The fact that it is a Netflix original, one thing I will give props to Netflix on is they've done a really good job at dubbing and subbing their movies, where most of their, their actresses are capable of voicing the language so that it looks good in both sub and dub. I've heard that with some of those type of movies.
I feel like it's weird that, like, because I say I'm like a lazy American, but I'm also like a snobby movie watcher too.
I'd say
where
most
like
Americans are lazy.
Watching like a dub is tough.
Okay.
Too, right?
Yeah,
like it's like sometimes it's just like between the obvious, like the lips not matching up, I think is something a lot of people have trouble getting used to.
Then you're like, I know that guy doesn't sound like that.
But yeah, well, that's the other one when the voice does not match at all. But also like the fact that the verbiage isn't the same either. Like you just can't capture the same stuff. And sometimes just seeing what the words are supposed to be at the bottom of the screen just gives you a better interpretation of what you're watching. So I think that's always a tough part with that.
But let it be known, I am pessimistically
optimistic
because I told you looking at it, I was like, this looks like every parody video on YouTube. But it was an official trailer, and I gotta say I'm pretty excited about it.
The acting makes it so it teeters something that like a fan could have made on YouTube.
Yeah,
like a really talented fan made movie. But I kind of look at it and I'm like, is Matt gonna finally get a video game movie that is good? Like we've had a couple recently, I suppose,
yeah. But you know, you and I have always talked about it, how there's always a misconnection there, right, with video games and having them come to film. When you take the video game and all the amazing scenes that you can create there, and you bring that to the movie, I think that definitely gives you a leg up. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, I'm gonna go into this with an open mind. If I can possibly snag you into watching it as well, I'll take that. But I know,
you know what it'll come down to for me, man.
What's that?
Genuinely, it'll be this: if it says it's over 2 hours, there's no way I'll watch it.
Okay.
If it says it's like an hour and 40 or less, there's a pretty good chance I'll give it a shot. Well, if it's anywhere in between that, Matt, it is in like a weird gray area where it's going to be a game time decision.
No, I understand that. Well, we're only a couple of days away from getting it released. July 1st is
Sounds like you already had your release, buddy.
Oh, dude, I've released several times.
You were genuinely speechless before we got on here.
No, I know. Like we even talked about it. We're like, we got to start with this because this energy cannot be dismissed. But I felt. Let me tell you this, Len. I felt so good about this trailer that it made it easy for me to immediately transition into our next topic. We're talking about Loki, baby.
We're talking about Loki.
So we're 3 episodes in. By the time that you get a chance to listen to this, you'll be 4 episodes in. But hopefully you're still enjoying the ride with us as we're going along with this. But episode 3 launched, and we got left with basically our hands in the air, Ricky Bobby style, wondering what's going to happen next. How'd you feel about this episode, Len?
Can I tell you the truth, Matt?
I mean, I would hope so. That's what I kind of bring you here for.
I've gone like back and forth on how I was gonna like approach this Loki combo.
Okay.
I think part of the thing that had me low T this week was like Loki.
Wow.
And it's not that I don't like it. I actually think it's rather good. But I just didn't find myself like as anticipatory. Is that a word?
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, that's
so,
a Bushism.
Like, I just didn't feel like it was something that was like appointment viewing for me this week. I would have been cool if I didn't know that obviously I was going to have to watch it for like being able to talk about it here. I think I would have probably taken a week and watched it.
Let it stew a little bit?
Yeah, I just wasn't. I literally watched it today. I finished it minutes before you got here today.
Huh.
Because I just couldn't do it. You know, I don't know what it was. And when I watched the episode, I was like, wow, this is a good episode. It's got to be the most action-packed one we've gotten of this series. And dare I say it, outside of a couple of the Winter Soldier episodes, it maybe even have been a more action-oriented episode than what we got on that. Sure as hell was expensive.
Yeah, you could certainly see where they're putting the budget, right? It's a budget-thick show right now, and I could certainly understand your feeling about this, man, because honestly, it comes out on Wednesday, and I can't tell you how many people on Thursday are asking me if I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm halfway wanting to lie to him and be like, yeah, I did watch it. But I'll be honest, man, I'm not catching this until about Friday, Saturday.
I kind of wonder if this one, because it's only 6 episodes, and a question I definitely have for this episode is like, are we getting enough to be at 3 episodes and we're halfway through the series and like there's no real like high stakes in play here? I feel like right now, obviously they left us at a big cliffhanger at this episode, and I do, like I said again, I want to say that generally I enjoyed this episode. It's just I wonder if because it's 6 episodes, if maybe this tailors itself better to binge it in a day, like on your day off at the end of the 6 episodes. At the end of these 6 episodes on a day off, just watch all 6 of them. Would that be a more appealing way to be watching this?
You know what I've often thought that Disney kind of missed the boat on is, and it's something that Apple TV Plus has done really well with their shows. Not to say that their shows are really good, but they do a good job of enticing you to watch by dropping 3 episodes at a time when they first launch a show.
You can't do that with a 6-episode series, though, Matt. You're going to have 2 weeks of releases.
No, I get that. But is there a benefit to and obviously this would never happen. This is why we have a weird drop cycle on a Wednesday, but you almost feel like the same way they drop a movie, maybe just drop a show on me. Episodes 1 through 6, give me that one-time option.
That's the Netflix strategy.
Yeah.
And I understand for a timing sake, Disney's releasing these in a way that they want them to all build to movies, I'd assume.
Yeah, I get that.
So you want to have it paced in that way. You also want there to be build to those releases. I just don't know if this is the show. Which show has worked the best for you out of the 3 so far for like having weekly releases?
I think Cap and the Winter Soldier maybe did the best job as far as being able to put together the pieces for such a short series.
I think it maybe works the best as a week by week TV show.
Yeah, and we talked about that. We always talked about how we could see this being a series way more than we could see it being a movie. Loki, I almost feel the opposite. I almost feel like these 6 episodes would very easily make a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I can certainly understand that, but that's where I would say, if you gave me 6 episodes of Loki 2 weeks before you were going to launch a movie, you'd create some buzz. I would almost feel inclined to get through the 6 episodes and be able to piece together the story. Seems different.
I agree, but like if those 6 episodes of Loki need to impact the 6 episodes following of What If that then inform the Shang-Chi movie that's coming out in 2 months, it's just like I think there's a trickle-down effect of information. I also want to, because we didn't mention WandaVision there, I do think the first 5 episodes of WandaVision worked great for week-by-week TV.
Because of what they were doing.
You had so many questions episode to episode, and they were putting you in so many directions that I think it lent itself really well for the way that show worked. So I think the first 5 episodes or so of WandaVision were really, really great weekly TV. I think it kind of fell off a little bit after that to where I wanted to see the play out of the story, and I wanted to see it in one big.
Yeah, we kind of get impatient a little bit.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is too, right? But again, Falcon, Winter Soldier works the best. This one I'm back at. Did I get it right?
You got it right, but the amount of times that you're tiptoeing around that Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Because now they are Cap, right?
Yeah, he is. He is. Here in the badge.
You're Cap. Bro.
Yeah, but I'm not capping. But let's call it what it is. We're finished with episode 3. We're left kind of understanding that Loki and Sylvie have developed a relationship.
One that's in complete contradiction to what he was building with Mobius, right? Kind of against everything there. Their interactions were pretty cool. I thought you got some hints at Loki maybe swinging both ways here, being a little ambidextrous, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah,
I mean, he kind of hinted to that, right? He was like, "Yeah, I've had my fair share of fun." Right?
And he's like, "You probably have too."
Yeah, and that was a really nice exchange. There's a certain level of trust / distrust between these two.
But no trust at all.
Yeah, you can tell that they're kind of down for each other.
Because they're one in a way, right? But they're not.
Complete disclosure right now. I'm probably going to get canceled for this. Should we disclosure? No. This is always something we can clip out. if Loki is feeling Sylvie and they make the bunk, is that just a form of masturbation?
I don't think you can get canceled for masturbation, dude. I thought you were gonna ask me if it was a form of incest.
Well, I didn't want to assume anybody's gender.
If you come in yourself and
that's
make
not
a baby.
Incest. No, wait, no. Incest would involve another family member, I would imagine.
So would this make Loki asexual?
That's my question. So is it Matt? I don't know, man. I don't want to tiptoe around that area.
Who's masturbating who?
I don't know. She seems like she'd be a power top.
I think that she'd fuck Loki.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I got the vibe when Loki was like, we've dabbled in both. He was like, I'd let you.
Yeah, he was like, I hate how you and I are on the same wavelength for this.
It's like I'd let you do it
because he was being really submissive.
Yeah,
he's like, listen, I know how to have fun. You know how to have fun.
He's getting drunk to loosen up.
Yeah, he thought that this train ride was going completely.
Thought there was a different.
He was like,
train.
I'm gonna let her nap now. I'm gonna get loose. I'm going to get everybody else all real jolly with my singing. When she wakes up, she's not going to be able to resist this, dude.
She's going to be like, he's the life of the party.
Oh, no.
I need to fuck that dude.
Yeah, he couldn't be put more in the friend zone. She wanted to just basically blow up the area. Great scene, great exchange. It really gets you invested into these two characters, but it does lead the question, who do you think is steering him in the wrong direction? Do you think it was the TVA with Mobius? Because they developed a little bit of a thing. And it really seemed like Mobius was trusting of Loki.
But I think that they can still have a relationship because we find out in this as well that Sylvie gives this up that like the time variant agents or the time agents, whatever they're fucking called, are just variants that have had their minds wiped. So basically,
that was and I don't really. We'll say it's a spoiler. So 3, 2, 1. If you haven't caught up already,
fuck, dude. I just watched this.
Yeah,
like
I know.
An hour and a
you
half
should be
before
caught
the
up.
next episode.
If it's a week old, F the spoilers, dude. No, she lets everybody because he's under the impression due to what Morbius told him. Mobius. What Mobius told him.
Morpheus.
I don't know which one. It's Morpheus, definitely. Lawrence Fishburne. That everybody who's an agent at the TVA was created by the Timekeepers. Then we find out, no, they've all just in some way, shape, or form broken the rules, become variants, and are then stuck working for the TVA.
Which is just like, is that like foreshadowing for Loki's future? Like they're just going to try and wipe his brain. He's going to be like, no, my mind's too powerful.
But they can't remember. I don't know, man. That's a deep thing.
I guess my point is like, I think it still leaves a path open that Loki can do something to earn Mobius's trust back,
Yeah, I mean, we've always wondered how or what Loki's ulterior motive is. And if we're under the impression that all of these people are working against their will, maybe it's just about flipping that switch. And you now have an army behind you, and then it's you versus the Timekeepers.
But if you think that they're working against their will, then you're on the side of thinking that the agency there is the bad guys.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm really...
Sounds like that's what you said.
Maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
Okay.
I'm flip-flopping.
Way to live on the fucking edge,
yeah,
dude.
Well, because to me, it would mean that up until this point, what Mobius has told us is that the Timekeepers are in charge of everything. They decide when it all comes to a halt. If that's the case, then I don't really think that's a good guy.
Yeah.
I don't trust lizards, dude. I've said this already.
So I'm with you on the lizard front. I'm also with you in the front of, like, I don't think that no one man should have all that power.
All right, so there's your Kanye West quote. Can you elaborate, please?
I mean, it's basically what I mean, dude. Like there's like time. Have you ever seen the movie Just in Time? Or just not Just
you
in
were about to say Just in Time.
Yeah, but In Time.
In Time with Justin Timberlake.
Okay, think about how powerful time is. It's basically money, dude.
Yeah.
And like,
eventually it will be.
You can't let these dudes have control over all of that money.
No, I get that.
Like this, that's like you have a room. Those 3 lizards are like, it's actually like an allegory for like Bezos, Bill Gates,
Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Like it's just
the lizard people, the real lizard people, the people that we know are not human. Okay, who else? Elon Musk.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Actually,
okay.
Dude, don't get me started. I used to be a muskie, dude. Is that what they call him? I used to be a musketeer. I used to be a fucking musketeer, bro.
I'm more down with Elon Tusk than I am Elon Musk.
Fuck that guy, dude.
Fuck
that guy. I hope he jumps in his fucking indestructible SUV and drives.
I was hoping that the Tesla that he sent to the moon had him in it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Kick rocks.
Get rid of that guy, and he's banging Amber Heard, who is also not a.
She shits in people's beds.
Yeah,
she's a woman.
She gets no support from
that.
Here.
Is not ladylike.
Yeah,
that's not a woman I want to know. I think we've had that conversation already. I don't want to know that lady.
Lizard people, dude.
So the end of this episode.
So you're agreeing with me that the Timekeepers are bad?
Well, if the Timekeepers are in fact Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and fucking the dude from
Bezos,
North Korea,
Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, all those assholes. Did you say Kim Jong Un?
No one man should have all that power, Matt.
Kim Jong Un has all the power in North Korea. Literally, nobody else has lights in North Korea. He's got all.
He's got
the
the internet. He's got the power. He's got the money. He's got the weapons. He's got nukes.
All he needs to do is get everything. A diet. Once we hit,
and some lifts, dude. You probably need some lifts.
I don't know, man. That man's gone to the Pauly D school of how I do my hair. Like,
it gives you height, dude. I don't know who you are. You might be rocking the same exact Pauly D haircut, dude. What the fuck are we doing right now? You can't do that. You just brought that on yourself.
Hey, man.
Sorry, man. Hey. We left me in a tough spot.
I know, but I didn't need you flipping this whole thing on me, bro. I have a certain amount of product in my hair that puts me right underneath the threshold. I'm not on the Trump train, bro. Anyway,
so the end of this episode
ends
with like quite the cliffhanger. Like I said, a very expensive episode, right down to the end here with like So did you get a real Star Warsy vibe from like the planet they were on here? I got a kind of a Star Warsy vibe from it.
It was a little out there from like a Star Wars, Star Trek perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that really caught my attention about this episode, actually two things. The soundtrack for this season and this show.
No, I thought the very beginning of the movie, the very beginning of the episode, it was the trailer credits at the beginning, and they were playing the music. I was like, this is weird.
Dude, they are nailing it from a music standpoint on all 3 episodes. Every fight sequence has got a really dope montage song. Love it. But the second thing was there was so much that you could tell was invested into this apocalypse. There was so many different angles because Loki at this point ruins 3 plans. Mm-hmm. They're like, all right, we're going to use the tent pad. We lose that. All right, now we're going to jump on this train. We get kicked off the train. Now we're going to jump on this ship. And everything from a visual perspective to the way that the moon is crashing into the planet, mm-hmm. you could just tell it was done very, very well. Did it look fake to you at all? Because to me, it looked fantastic.
Well...
It didn't look fake.
It didn't look fake.
It looked like so real.
It is a movie.
It was so real,
like on a fake planet.
Bro,
so like, I mean, it looked fake.
No.
But like, it didn't look fake in terms of it's like visually, it doesn't look like a TV show. I think is what you're looking for,
it looked
right?
amazing.
Like the money invested is that of which, and Disney has done this. I'm sure when you watch The Mandalorian, you felt the same way.
How would you know?
I don't. I'm saying I'm sure when you watched The Mandalorian, you felt the same way, that like they've invested a decent amount of money into the look and feel of these properties so that they are separated from like, what we just talked about with Dynasty Warriors. No offense, but it's like that's a Netflix looking movie, right? Like 100%. That it looks like it's somewhere.
That's a YouTube looking movie.
Like Netflix movies look like they're somewhere in between the Sci-Fi Channel and like legitimate theater, right? Like in terms of the money that's involved in them. So they have just good enough CGI, but it's just bad enough that you can tell it's on a green screen. So that's what
nailed it.
That's what Dynasty Warriors looked like, right? And that's what it feels like Disney has spent so much money to avoid. And it's not that they have to spend that much money when like Marvel Studios is already a thing. Those types of templates are already in place. They just probably have to change some textures and like the technology's there,
Yeah, but you're definitely paying a lot of money because man, they're able to create universes for these short episodes. They've done it in 2 instances already, where episode 2 and episode 3 are kind of getting a new look at the entire landscape. That flooding, tornado, tsunami scene, pretty incredible. Mm-hmm. Like they've done a lot with this show in such a short amount of time. So yeah, to your point, it does look almost like a cinematic movie as opposed to a show.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I like I said, I don't think there was a ton of tension in the end of this episode, although it's designed to be, I guess, like how are they going to get out of this scenario?
Dude, Sylvie's like, fuck it.
I just assume, she just leaves. Like, I just assume they're going to get out of it, though. So I guess that's why there's no real tension to me. What do you think? I think like the timekeepers might show up.
I mean,
and pull them out of there. Like Mobius shows up just in time to open a window and pull them out. I had one last point before I forget this. I had one major point that I wanted to really remember for this episode.
Okay.
Can we just explain to me? So she says her plan is years in the making at the beginning of this, right?
Yeah.
Like that's her thing. It's like, I've been working, you ruined a plan that I've been working on for like 10 fucking years, dickhead.
Yep.
And he's like, and Matt, my major gripe here is you had 10 years to plan this and you come in with a low battery, motherfucker. Dude, you use this thing like...
that wasn't hers. That was his.
No, he took it from her.
Did he?
Yeah, that's why, like, didn't he take it from her?
No, I think he had a tent pad on him because she's holding a sword to his neck when they're being chased down by like the head of the TVA.
Because how does she jump to where...
That's a good point. I might be missing that.
And then she creates the...
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, no, maybe she wasn't expecting that second jump because that jump. That
I definitely understand that part, Matt. No, so I thought about that when I was thinking about how I thought it was kind of dumb. I thought to myself, well, she probably didn't anticipate the extra jump.
Yeah. Okay.
However, I would just say contingencies on a plan that's 10 years old or 2 years old, however long she said it was, would be to have a secondary battery source. Have another one. You didn't think of this for fucking 5 years to not have some contingencies in place in case some things didn't go according to your plan. So that's where my only thing was. I spent 3 or 4 minutes just being like, no other battery, huh? You just don't have a fucking battery, and then you keep telling me you know how to charge it. Just bring a portable. You should have had a portable charger with you, or a secondary.
You should have had some way to get yourself across it. Like maybe you needed to take a second jump, right? Who are you to think that you didn't?
But at this point, I feel like Mobius is going to come through at the very last second and save them to start off episode 4.
No, I think you're tipping your hat, man. It's very easy to tell No?
I'm getting you a Christmas gift. Christmas gift idea, write this down. Get Matt a sayings book.
A seance book?
Yes.
I don't want that, dude.
Oh, dude.
We're not bringing back the
Would
dead,
anyone
bro.
want to live stream us doing like a Ouija board?
No, I'm getting out of this immediately, dude.
I've never tried.
I'm not doing it.
I was there for a Ouija board once, and I sat in the other room.
Listen, bro, if this episode of Loki has shown us anything, it's that all the mischief that you can get into really should be limited so that when it comes back on you, it's a very small price to pay.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
So speaking of Disney Plus and good quality TV, Matt, could you give me like a 2 to 3 minute breakdown of the Bad Batch? What happens when Boba Fett gets his name back?
Well, no, so don't even do that because you're going to
Killed it,
spoil
dude.
everything that I
killed it.
just... No, no.
Dude,
Leonard.
I love the Bad Batch.
No, you need to stop right now. Because the fact that you're so spot on about name dropping Boba Fett, I'm gonna be pissed at you. Contingency plan, Len. This is what all this story comes down to. You talked about Loki or woman Loki, Sylvie having a contingency plan. Well, I'll tell you who had a contingency plan.
The Bad Batch.
Disney Plus with their second half of the Bad Batch, my man. Episode 9 comes in so hot. We leave episode 8. I'm going through spoilers galore for this next 3 minutes.
They're on fire, dude. It's like
3, 2,
NBA
1.
jams.
Yeah, we're out here. My shoes are lighting up.
Yep.
He's on fire, and that's a toilet seat right there.
Lloyd Banks.
Dude, when you think about how I was talking about how this show was slowly building, they were going into a direction where I didn't understand where the characters were going. Disney decides to totally redeem themselves. Episode 8 ends with Cad Bane making his long-anticipated return.
Cadbury?
Cad Bane, don't do this to me. I'm on a roll.
You're right.
He steals Omega, gets his bounty, takes off, leaves the Bad Batch in a heap. They're fighting on all sides. And we open up episode 9 with understanding who Omega is. And you name drop Boba Fett. Do you know why that's important, Len? I bet you don't. I'm
Because he's
gonna
a
keep
bounty
going.
hunter.
No. If you guys know your Star Wars, you know that the original clone was Jango Fett, father of Boba Fett. And we find out that Omega...
Is he unchained yet?
What? Stop. What are you talking about?
Django, dude.
Stop doing this. I only have a limited amount of time. That is a good call, though. I hate you. Jango Fett, who was the original bloodline for all the clones, has a direct lineage to Omega. We find out that the reason everyone is after Omega is because she has the original DNA to recreate the clone army, and she's a huge asset to the Kaminoans. She's worth a lot of money. So Cad Bane steals her, but someone goes to steal her back, Len. Do you know who it is?
No, the Bad Batch.
Finnick Shank makes her return. Ming-Na Wen comes back.
I knew that, actually.
Fights off Cad Bane.
Bitch?
No.
Okay.
No, you're trying. I love it, but no, you're way off on this one. We get another mercenary on mercenary fight. We get the character reveal that I think we've all been waiting for. We now know who Omega is, and she gets reunited with the Bad Batch at the end of this episode. So I nailed it. 3 minutes in, name dropping. Shout out to you on the Boba Fett, because Omega and Boba Fett are the only 2 original clones who still have
You know
the
what
DNA.
else props to me, Matt? You said Omega like 3 times, and I never said Kenny.
No, I like what you did there.
Oh.
Dude, thank you for not taking this the wrestling direction that we all know it deserves to go into.
But I'll be honest, I didn't see it.
I know you didn't.
I looked up the Bad Batch and just read a couple headlines that said, "What does it mean that Django is back?" And they've named Boba finally.
Yeah, so Django didn't return, but in all the craziness, we did learn why Omega's so important, why she can't be captured, and why her getting back to the Bad Batch was oh so important, Len.
Sounds sick. So Matt, what I wanted to say was, I just wanted to tell the people why I feel like I've been sitting like kind of a weirdo this whole time. Like,
you want to disclose that information?
Yeah, like I'm like leaned over, and I want to just let anybody out there. This is like a peer program, a peer mentoring program. It's for men over the age of 30. It's when you do a couple podcasts a week, and you have to sit in these chairs, and you somehow develop like an ache in your upper ass.
Upper ass, lower back.
It's mostly my ass.
Well, it's been both of us, dude. So much so that I'm sitting on a donut right now.
Yeah, you're sitting on a hemorrhoid donut.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on nothing, but I can't sit back. Like, I'm afraid to lean back in my chair because I feel like when I go to get up, it's just gonna fucking destroy me.
Okay.
So I've been like leaned forward like this the whole time, just so I can keep my basically my legs are doing the work.
You're now reaching the vulnerable part of the episode where we're just kind of sharing.
The back half is always where I get a little more vulnerable. It gets
Life-
loose over here.
Life after 30 for us has been tough, right?
Dude, seriously. I mean, like, And I have no excuses because I have no like you have to chase a little kid around and shit, man. I have zero excuse. I just literally I podcast twice a week and it's destroyed my body. It's that and playing video games somehow have like taken a toll on me. Like I've just grown ass sores.
You're gonna have to get a seat or like a something that will allow you to bend U-shape backwards.
No, here's
to repair all the damage.
This is where I'm at right now, Matt. Is like I'm going back to the fact of we need to get more. Like we need to get rid of the table. We need to get some like lounge chairs in here.
We've been saying that.
Yeah. No, we've just got to do it because I would like that's the only thing that's going to save us.
It's not like I can use this computer anyway. So like, what do I need a desk for?
Yeah, you're no good with it. Dude.
No, dude.
You're shit with that.
Dude, I'm pretty sure like if I put out any type of comment threads where it was like, hey, what do you think of my computing skills? People would immediately be like, fired, quit, kill yourself, you're
can't
terrible.
Google. Like, that's insult enough if they're just like, can't Google.
Yeah, no,
like,
can't Google. Probably should stick to Bing. Is Bing your last name? Like all this other stuff, dude.
Go ask Jeeves again, motherfucker.
Jesus. Hey, your friend the paperclip called. He said, do you need help with anything?
I love that guy.
Hate that guy.
He was like, he's like the Affleck,
Affleck
like lizard or whatever before.
Gecko.
Yeah, whatever his name. Oh, the duck is the Affleck one, right? But he's like, he's the little lizard before the little lizard was a thing.
Dude, the lizard blew up. Who would have really thought that that man would go so
you
far?
You would have thought I would have banked on the Chihuahua being the thing, the Taco Bell Chihuahua being the thing. But
bro, I think that suddenly like got phased out because people could foresee like this is not going to be culturally appropriate in like 15, 20 years.
It definitely wouldn't have been. But
because even though I'm sure Chihuahuas do speak with a Mexican accent, I don't think that would be appropriate.
Yeah, that they bark with one. They bark.
Yeah.
I hear the accent when they bark.
Anybody who's a dog expert out there, explain to me why Chihuahuas are so loud when they're the smallest dog. Yeah. I don't understand it. But, we go from good commercials to good trailers, Len. I feel like that's the only way that we can transition. We go from one Disney Plus commodity that we're kind of raving about, or at least I am, with the Bad Batch. But we had the latest Shang-Chi trailer drop, Len, and you and I had a chance to check it out. Do you feel better, medium, or worse than you did after the first trailer?
I the same. Is that okay? Is that like an acceptable answer?
Yeah, you're at medium.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm never gonna let a trailer like blow me through the fucking roof. You know,
I did this morning.
Well, it's got to be special ones. Like I think we're gonna get into a trailer that hit me a little bit different. This one was just like it's a very generic trailer. It gave us some more insight into the new Shang-Chi movie. Right. It lets us know who our villain's gonna be. It lets us know a little bit more of the players involved. What did you think of the introduction of daddy issues, of parental issues?
Well, it's a tale as old as time, right? Yeah. Like it's very easily understood that you're an heir to a lineage that doesn't always have the greatest history, and I think we're open to the fact that he has a great relationship with his mom and kind of understands that his dad is a douchebag. We've heard it before, and at this point, in order for him to come into his own and assume the throne of power, he's got to overthrow his pops.
His dad has all those rings on his arm and can't give the wife one.
Oh, yeah. Dude, 10 rings on your arm, couldn't afford the one that counts, am I right?
Yeah, or keep it on the one that counts.
I mean, maybe it's because he had 10 that maybe she was jealous.
He was doing some work with those rings, though.
I thought that was probably cool.
Probably cool?
Yeah, I thought that was probably cool. I feel like it's probably going to...
I like how, Cat, it's just like, yeah, that's probably cool.
That's probably cool. Yeah, like
it's special. It's like they're watching and you don't want to let them know.
Yeah,
how much you really liked it. I don't want to let you get too high on yourself. So it's probably cool.
It's a short look at what the power can do, and you were just making jokes about it being Mortal Kombat at the end.
It looked a lot like Mortal Kombat.
I thought it was probably going to be cool.
When they had the two when it looked like the two colors.
When they were 5 against 5. They're splitting the rings?
Yes.
Yeah, because you can't have more than 10 rings, Len.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's the 10 rings. Point. One had 5, the other had 5.
If somebody has 6 and somebody has 4, what happens?
That's a clear advantage. Cool. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to have that little, stalemate in the middle.
I also got some, I think I also mentioned Avatar in this.
Yep.
Because I'm getting a lot of that, let's move our hands and make water.
Yeah, there was some air bending mixed in with some sand bending going on.
Matt, I've heard you talk recently. What again is what would be your choice?
I said I'd be a firebender.
Okay.
But not in the way that they projected in the movie, because they couldn't create fire in the movie. They could only manipulate it. Everybody who knows Avatar: The Last Airbender knows that that's horseshit. all the fire people can bend their own fire.
Can you breathe fire if you're bending fire?
Well, I'm not a dragon per se, but I would imagine it's a technique that I could learn.
I've always like I'd be a water bender.
I could see that. You're kind of the water champ as far as I'm concerned. You drink the most water out of anybody I know.
That can't be true.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of people.
That's true.
It's a very
That's
shallow
definitely
pool. See what I did there?
That was clever.
We're back on the water
That's
stuff.
fucking clever.
But no, all in all, I liked the trailer. It was already a movie that I was very much interested in watching just because of the looks and the visuals. For me now, I feel like the storyline is just going to kind of hit home for me. Where I would imagine that if I had a dad, we'd probably get into it.
So I think some things need trailers and some things don't. And I feel like we're at this point with like I really only needed one Shang-Chi trailer.
You didn't
like
need
there was nothing that was going to really like add to me wanting to see this movie more.
Makes sense.
So just leave it at one trailer, right? Because it's nuts. We've talked about this in the past, and I think everybody talks about this with trailers. It's like in all actuality, we've only seen 4.5 minutes chopped up of this 2-hour movie, but I still feel like I could have done with only seeing 2 minutes because I maybe already know too much. Because I'm actually, now that there better be another big bad, because that dad did not look intimidating.
He's aged like
you
a
know what the
grape,
other big bad is,
unfortunately.
Matt?
Who?
Gyarados.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's the big bad.
You don't think that was a big bad?
Because first of all, it's not Gyarados.
Do you think that was somebody waterbending?
No, I don't think anybody was waterbending underwater. I don't think that's a
They
thing.
can't do that?
I think you can, but I think it'd be very difficult. Why are you stuck on the idea that that's Gyarados and not just a dragon?
I mean, I'm at Matt, just speaking as the biggest Pokemon fan in the room, I would just say that I'm probably qualified to say that was Gyarados.
We've never gotten to this level of disrespect before. Like, I don't even feel like... I feel like we should stop recording right now. We need to address some shit.
You're just going to reach across the table and smack me.
It's taking everything I am to not do that right now.
Dude, you just whip one of these at the wall.
Dude,
you go like full Joe from the Kings of Summer.
The fact that you... Jesus Christ, really? Nice,
yeah,
nice
plug,
callback.
dude, plug. 3, 2, 1, spoiler. Check it out. Just dropped on the channel on Sunday.
Shout out to D. Offset Alston.
The homie.
But yeah, man, I think...
The first made a taste.
I think you're spot on with the fact that I don't need any more trailers. I saw the teaser. It gave me everything I think I needed, and now I'm just confused because now I don't know if that dragon is indeed a dragon or if it's Gyarados, because you're the largest Pokemon fan in the room.
Well, don't make fun of my size because
you're the largest Pokemon fan.
Wow, dude. Let's pose the question to you guys out there. What do you think of trailers? What do you think of Marvel trailers? Did we need another Shang-Chi trailer?
We needed a couple 2 tree trailers.
Whoops. And was that Gyarados or just some dragon, as Matt would say?
Yeah, and let's further the question of how do you feel about trailers? Do you think a one-time teaser is enough, or do we really need to get in depth with these trailers?
Just to really clarify, I just think that when you've got 10 to 15 years worth of context to a franchise, everybody knows what Marvel's all about, right? So I think when you have 90% of the people who are going to see your movie, you're not gaining any new viewership to Shang-Chi, I just don't think, from putting out multiple trailers. So having
losing some interest.
Yeah, so having some mystery when I go into the movie theater isn't a terrible thing, right?
I would almost appreciate it.
I told you I probably wouldn't have watched this if it wasn't I'm doing a lot of that, and it makes it sound like I don't enjoy watching any of this stuff. That's not the case. I just have a very distinct way in which I do things.
Well, let's set the right expectation. Lenny was never a trailer guy.
No, until
you're watching trailers now because we do this.
Until we started doing this weekly, I would avoid trailers because I want to go in knowing as little as possible, because I don't like having my opinions influenced by preconceived notions. And I feel like that's what some of these trailers do. So like I said, me seeing the dad and him not being that physically imposing and not really looking what I think a lead villain in a Marvel movie should look like, it gives me some hesitation. And I could be completely wrong on that.
Yeah, I don't think you should judge a book by its cover.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Let's get into the next trailer that I think we did. At least me personally, I judged the first trailer we saw. This is an instant of a movie that I think maybe needs a trailer.
So this is where I was going to ask if you're going to contradict yourself.
Because I think this is what I'm explaining, right? Okay. Is that there are movies that can gain fans and gain interest and get notoriety and get people to go see them by putting trailers out. But Marvel, even Fast and the Furious, sometimes I think that their trailers might work against them.
Yeah, because we already know what we're getting. Yeah, just give it to us.
Most of the people who are going to go see them are already bought in. It's almost like how musicians, right? Like how like Taylor Swift can drop a random album on like a Tuesday at 1 a.m. Right?
Some people are gonna have to question us that why our music choices always lean towards like women's albums.
Well, it's just Taylor Swift
and
is
like
easy.
yeah. Okay.
But she's also the most recent person in my head that dropped like a surprise album, right?
Yeah.
So I guess my point is like they have the benefit of like I don't even need to tell you an album's coming out. I'll just drop it on a Friday.
Drop it on you,
and it's gonna be the number one album by the end of the weekend. Or like Drake can do that, whoever it is.
You're spot on.
And like Fast and Furious can do that. Marvel could tell us on a month's notice, hey, we have a movie coming out next month, and people would I think be 10 times more excited by the fact that they know nothing than knowing stuff about it.
Hence, drop 6 episodes 2 weeks before a movie comes out.
I don't disagree with that.
But we're talking about Snake Eyes.
Yeah, with the new Snake Eyes trailer that came out, I think this is a movie that, coming out of the first trailer, I was like, okay, I'll see it. It's an action movie, but there was nothing really distinctly impressive. And I don't know if like impressive is even the right word to use here, but I think, and maybe you'll agree with me, I came away being pretty positive about where this movie's possibly going. And every time I say Snake Eyes, it's like that other Snake Eyes that was right underneath it with Nick Cage just pops into my head.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage is always trying to make his way into your head. I've realized this now.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
somehow
that
he's always trying to break
movie
into your...
came out with.
So ridiculous. But no, man, we were talking about it, and I was like, that teaser trailer for me left me way more confused because of what I know about the Snake Eyes character. Mm-hmm. This full trailer, rather than it being a teaser, helped plug in the gaps for me and definitely built the excitement. Right now, I'm interested in the movie. I'm interested in seeing how some of the actors who have been cast for this end up playing out in this film. But I think this is it for me. Don't come out with another trailer.
Definitely not. I don't want to see it.
Like, I've seen everything I need to see.
If they come out with another one, Matt,
we're not doing it.
And yeah, we're just not going to watch it.
Nope.
Like, we're
let it be known right now. We're sticking to our guns.
Mm-hmm.
If a trailer seems like it's going to be too much, we're just not going to go with it.
Okay,
I think that's fair, right?
Yeah. So did you get some real Batman Begins-y vibes out of this trailer?
Get the hell out of my head with this.
Yeah, that's because
I had mentioned, I was like, it's real weird that this guy that he ends up getting paired with is like a millionaire or something. He's like a leader of this cult or ninja organization.
But Peter Mensa is the blind master. He's the one who's actually in charge of that.
Yeah, so that's where, Andrew Koji gets a lot of love from me because I just finished his HBO series Warrior, which is dedicated to Bruce
Everybody's
Lee.
telling me it's fucking awesome.
Really, really good show, and I'm not just blowing it up for that sense.
You're not just blowing smoke.
He does an incredible job being able to play both sides, being a Chinese immigrant and being able to speak English really, really well. Does a great job of telling that story, and to hear that he's cast as Storm Shadow, who's kind of like Snake Eyes' brother, it looks like in this movie, but we ultimately know how that storyline plays out. So it's going to be really interesting, and I'm certainly looking forward to it. Yeah,
so the Batman Begins vibe, it's like he starts off, and obviously he's not a rich person to start off, but it's like a person who kind of ends up getting taken in by this cult group that, and he's kind of lost looking for something.
Purpose.
He gets trained by them, and he has to go through, different trials to be able to prove himself as worthy, and is going to come away from that and be input into, a war that's kind of bigger than him that he didn't even really know,
Yeah, and I think when we originally watched this teaser, I was like, I don't know if this movie is going to tell me the story of how he became Snake Eyes. Like, I was really concerned about that.
The first trailer did not give you the vibe that I like when I saw that we're going to get this context and this backstory. I think we've all seen this kind of movie before, and I don't think it's going to be a movie that breaks the mold of this type of movie. But that doesn't mean it can't be an okay, perfectly acceptable entry into a series that needs some okay entries.
Yeah, and I also like the idea of the origin story.
Yeah,
right? I like the idea of doing that because it gives us a lot more to look forward to.
The G.I. Joe franchise at this point needs strong foundation, right? It's a franchise that's probably, I think, you're going to see so much more now because of movies like F9, right? Or franchises like Fast and the Furious and franchises like Marvel that are able to build these expanding universes. Everything's going to be a war over the next 10 years to buy properties that can be used to build bigger bigger worlds, right? And I think G.I. Joe's is a world that we've always heard crossed over with different platforms, and it has a lot of really interesting and unique characters that if you cast the right people, a la Henry Golding, who
Yeah.
right now is a really big
Saw
up
him
and
come
coming
up. Yep.
actor, right? That I think is a box office worthy leading man right
Yeah.
now in that role. You have some strong foundation, the same way that Marvel had to pick 4 or 5 really strong people to build a whole movie franchise over, a
Yeah.
whole movie fucking
it,
world.
It really has to start somewhere, and if you can get in, like, you're not always going to nail it like you did with RDJ and Chris Evans, right? But if you can get a character who is on the rise, who has done some really good work in the past, it gives you the opportunity to build on it, and then hell, you're able to push forward all of your projects behind an actor that you're promoting.
Well, and you're also able to elevate once you have those bigger names. Because at the end of the day, you can elevate other people around them. But at the end of the day, you can come back to, okay, if Henry Golding can kind of save this franchise a little bit, we're going to be able to then come back to The Rock and be like, hey, you're already established in this universe. This is still called the G.I. Joes. We can go back to Channing Tatum, and you have some of these other names that have real value and selling potential that I think will maybe be more apt to come back if they see profit coming from the franchise. And I think The Rock has said he'd be willing to do it again.
Yeah.
So I guess my point is, like, I think this is a positive step. The movie has to live up to it, but I did enjoy this new look at the trailer.
One of those instances where a trailer does actually deliver the goods.
Yeah,
I think we can agree on
this
that.
helped. This helped. Yeah.
I'm a bit indifferent about this next one, Len, because I've watched the show. I know that you haven't. And when I was watching the trailer, I was slowly... Before we got into the trailer, I was like, I don't know if I'm really into it. As the trailer played, I slowly, one of those, every time I try to get out, they bring me back in. That's exactly what that was. And we're talking about this.
You are not a mobster.
No, I'm definitely not, bro. I've got no street cred. I would be on credit for street cred. But we're talking about the Many Saints Sopranos movie. Which
TV series.
Is it a TV? No, it's a movie.
I feel like it's a TV series.
No, it's a movie, dude.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we literally just went through this. It's a movie.
Are you sure?
The show was a series.
The Many
This
Saints
is a
of
movie.
New York, the Soprano story.
Yes, it's
How
a
many
movie.
hours? Can you just check that for me? How many
Yes,
hours?
of course.
I was gonna say, when you said you were like indifferent, I was like, by the end of that trailer, I did not get the idea that you were indifferent. It seemed like you were pretty fucking jazzed up about it.
No, I certainly was jazzed up about it. Why does it just say completed?
They don't have a time yet. I guess though it's coming out October 1st. Okay, but like, so not that important. I guess it's probably a movie. You're right. I just in my head I was like, they're going to do another TV series.
No, you're saying it's probably a movie. I'm telling you, it's a movie.
Okay, dude, it's
Stop
probably a
doing this.
movie. It was probably a good action sequence, dude. Like,
either way, the thing that I think drew me in was the casting of Michael Gandolfini, who's the son of James Gandolfini, the late James Gandolfini, who played Tony Soprano in the original Soprano series. It's complemented by John Bernthal, Leslie Odom Jr. Ray Liotta is another name that pulled up. When I looked at it, I was like, you know what? Having watched the series and not been a huge fan of it, I think that this is an interesting way, very much the way that I think the Clone Wars did for Star Wars, to fill in a lot of gaps of the storylines and help you appreciate a character and what he ended up doing a little bit more. You've never watched the show. What did you think of the trailer?
I was trying to decide in my head if I was like, would I watch this if it was airing now? And the long story short is no, but it's not because I dislike the quality. I thought it looked fine. Not really my style. And to your point, like, I don't have a ton of interest because I haven't
watched the show.
Seen the show, and the show never, people swear by that show. It's just, again, like, not really, I've never, anything like gangster mob related, it's never really intrigued me that much. Maybe like the Knockaround guys from like the year 2001.
No, like there's been some that have stood out to me, and I think I watched the show because, like you, like I've heard everybody rant and rave about it. I remember my mom watching it like way back when it was first airing.
It's a lot of fucking episodes.
It's a lot of episodes, and you know what, Len? The unfortunate part is it's a lot of episodes without a lot of substance. It's a lot of watching guys kind of just sit around and talk. It's not a lot of, build up. There's for every season there's a different storyline of how the mafia is intertwined with the law, but you never actually see any of it. A lot of it is just, we're hanging out in a deli and Tony Soprano's eating sausage again. Cool.
And I think the tough part for a person coming back as a fan, if I was looking at it from an outside perspective, is like James Gandolfini is the Sopranos, right? Like
it's Tony Soprano.
Really, to your point, it's great that they're bringing his son in to play that, and he looks the part. Looks a little fucking goofy, but
I mean, Tony Soprano looked goofy, so yeah, looked the part.
But I do like that. Like, it's going to be hard. Like, this kid's still not James Gandolfini. No. He doesn't have the acting experience or the acting chops that James Gandolfini had, right? Like, so
man had some chops on him.
It's going to be really hard to just like elevate that role, to use that word again. And I would just have some real hesitation as a fan, but I'm sure anybody who loved The Sopranos is excited for this. I think a movie makes a lot more sense, less room for error by coming out with a 2-hour movie. That kind of just shows you the prequel and the build-up.
It piques a lot of interest. I would love to hear if anybody is excited about the release of the movie. If you love the shows, hit us in the chat. Let us know what you think.
So as a person who has seen it though, Matt, like, does it make sense to have a prequel? Like, were there questions about how he got his start in the mob?
Well, when I say it doesn't have substance, Len, that's kind of what it is, because you're thrust into him becoming the big boss over his uncle. You see the power struggle between him and his uncle, but it doesn't really. There's a lot of storytelling, but not a lot of texture to the show. So, a prequel would almost make sense, because without the prequel, I really don't understand how he came to be known as this badass dude who came to run the entire New Jersey mob. Like, it's right now, if you watch that show, you're like, all right, man, why didn't somebody just shoot him in the face like way in the beginning? Like, how was it this difficult
when he was
to get
a little
to
kid,
him?
somebody just come up
Something,
and cap
man.
him.
Like, it was really just difficult to understand how he could be this boss. He played it very well, but I just didn't really see through his actions how he got to this point. Maybe this movie helps fill in the goal.
When did you watch The Sopranos?
Maybe 2 or 3 years ago, fully. So it was recent.
Do you think is it a show that like is easy to like, because I'm really big into this, like jumping back into late 90s, early 2000s stuff right now, and watching a lot of that time period.
Yeah.
Do you think going back and watching a show that aired through the early 2000s, correct, was the run of that show? Was it even late 90s?
No, I would say that's early 2000s.
Okay.
I think they started like maybe 2000.
How many seasons is there?
There's 4 or 5 seasons.
Oh, that's less than I thought.
Yeah, it's short.
Oh.
It's not, and that's the other thing. How many seasons do you think The Wire is?
4. I know that's 4.
It's like 4 or 5. Yeah. They're so short, and they don't really give you a lot. There's scenes in there, yes, but you're also like,
I swear I thought The Sopranos was longer.
No, man, it's about 5 seasons. And
can you pontificate while I food for thought?
Well, so I'll wrap it up with this. The trailer looks good. The cast looks good. If you watch the series at all and you love the character of Tony Soprano, this is just going to help give him some street cred that helps you understand how he became the big bad. The show has been highly controversial for the way that it ended. We never really get to see if Tony dies or if Tony lives on.
6 seasons.
Really?
1999 to 2007.
6 seasons?
Mm-hmm.
Feels a lot shorter than that. So I mean, early 2000s.
It's 87 episodes.
Early 2000s. I think that's what The Sopranos is most remembered for, is not really kind of finishing the way that a lot of people thought it would.
Mm-hmm. That is a famously like not loved ending.
As far as it holding up now, again, because there's not the dialogue between Tony Soprano and his therapist, which is a lot of this show, would hold up anytime, because it's a lot of good back and forth witty banter
so
and dialogue.
It doesn't get dated because it's just a lot of strong acting and
and that's what this is. It's a lot of the show being carried by powerful presences, and that only gets you so far. So to learn that this went 6 seasons and it still didn't finish the way that a lot of people thought it should, I think is very interesting, man. It does pique my interest to watch the movie just to fill in those gaps. Well, then, before we got into the Dynasty Warriors trailer, there was a trailer that stuck out to me as my must-see trailer for today. And I know that it's got you and your panties all up in a bunch, because I know you're excited about it. We're talking about Halloween Kills, baby.
Baby, my favorite movie franchise ever. Like,
You've said it several times.
And what 2018 did for the franchise, I think reinvigorated like a passion or a love that I have for it. A genre that's like, I've been toying around with my rankings recently for like my favorite movie genres. And I think the slasher horror genre is number 3 at this point for me.
All right.
just something that like is really, really close to home. So like Halloween Kills, this new trailer, man, like I told you, I tried filming a trailer reaction. It just didn't like the quality of
together.
the audio there was just an issue with it, so I couldn't release it. I wish I could have, because you know me better than most. I'm not a very animated person. I'm not like a big like giddy excited person. But I was watching that trailer, and that's like my eyes got wide, and I was like, "Holy, like this is fun!"
You're
like,
feeling
I was
good
smiling,
about it.
like
Yeah.
I was.
I'm gonna
I
start
was
banning
really,
you from watching trailers without me.
It was. It's just good, man. I don't know how much we want to get into like the first movie, because unfortunately you haven't seen the 2018 movie. But for people at home, like it rewrote out everything after the first Halloween. So everything after the Halloween from 1970, whatever, it wrote out Halloween 2.
Halloween
3
HDO.
was never a part of it, but yeah. HDO, all of it. Like any of the Jamie Lee Curtis stuff outside of the first movie was written out. And you're picking up fresh from a 40-year-old, like a 60-something-year-old Jamie Lee Curtis.
She did not age well for 40 years.
Who has a daughter and a granddaughter,
Yeah.
who she's alienated because she's been dealing with the trauma of what happened to her on that Halloween night, right? Yeah. She's built up walls, like literal walls all around her, a fortress to keep him out, knowing that eventually he would come back. And in 2018's movie, he's come back, you know? And you get this just awesome return to what Michael Myers should be, not like this campy kind of joke, but like this vicious great white shark, because that's what he is. Like, he was Michael Myers,
apex predator.
Yeah, Michael Myers is the embodiment of evil. Like there's a line in the trailer that I am almost 100% positive is a direct quote from Dr. Loomis in one of the movies, but it's just basically that he is evil personified.
Yeah.
He is a person or an entity that is only there to kill.
Yep.
And that's why he's a great white shark.
Man,
he's always on the hunt.
This trailer, gives that feeling.
And the best thing about this trailer, Matt, is that a major question that came out of the first part of this trilogy that's being made now by Danny McBride, I'd like to point out that a guy who's built his career as being a comedy actor is writing these like horror movies that are just fantastic. And it goes back to something we talked about with A Quiet Place. I think about that a lot with like A Quiet Place. I was even thinking about it with Three Kings when we were watching it. Like when you have these smaller projects that's made from a place of love by one person or by a group of people, like in this case, because Halloween's not just Danny McBride,
where they're so entwined with the project that
it's a passion. It's not a money project.
Yeah.
It's a passion project, and I think those things translate through. And I think that's very evident in this franchise. So he's writing a trilogy of movies: Halloween Kills, and I can't remember what the third one's going to be called.
Not to interrupt you, but you've always mentioned, and something that's really stuck out to me, and I kind of live by it at this point, is being able to see an artist or someone create something that they've been a fan of. Mm-hmm. And it just helps them really understand which direction and what feeling you're looking to get out of the project.
And they're making it for people like us, like me or you.
Yeah,
you know, like
exactly.
They're the same people making it are people like us that want to see it succeed and want other people to love it the way that they feel love it. You know, and I'm sure Danny McBride spent from the year 2000 till 2010 or 11 when he first started thinking about writing like whatever treatment.
You got to think he's writing out a series of movies.
You know, he's been seeing all these things do things that has just diminished what he loved when he was a kid, or you know, like the first time he saw Halloween, and it was this really slow, subtle, quiet movie that had some like good kills, but it was really the way it was shot and things that was so in the soundtrack were the things that drew so many. It's really
about how gruesome Michael Myers could really be, right?
Yeah, yes and no, because like in the first movie, it's like I think he's become more gruesome with like the Rob Zombie era of in like this is somewhere in between it, because like the 2018 one is vicious, but the first Halloween, it's like he has trouble. He's vicious, but at the same time, like he has trouble killing, you know, a 16-year-old girl. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like in the future ones where he gets like superhuman strength and like weird shit.
Yeah, where it takes a weird turn.
This one is a little bit closer to that Michael, because you have to have that level of intensity. But yeah, the 2018 movie really recaptures it. And then this one, the best part, what I was going to say is a concern from the end of the last one was like, okay, the movie ends with him on fire in a basement of a house that's on fire. And you get the announcement that they're doing a second and a third, and you're like, okay, is he going to like fall out the back of a sewer drain under the house.
Yeah.
Like, how's he gonna escape this mess? Was there a trap door somewhere? Like, how did he get out? And instead, it's like they give you not only, like, as far as a slasher horror movie is concerned, I think enough logic that, like, okay, like the firefighters saw a house on fire.
They went to go do their job.
Their job's to put the fucking fire out.
They saved the guy.
So they go, so they go to put the fire out, and it's like, what happens? The floor falls through. And then the floor falls through, and it's like he's trying to help a guy out, and it's like that's where Michael Myers is at. And then we said we have to find how he's gonna get from the downstairs basement to out. Like, that's complicated. Come on, man,
he's a high jumper, clearly.
Yeah. But you get this fucking awesome scene, like, of him walking out of a fucking lit on fire house, smoke bellowing out behind him, and he's just got an axe in his hand, and he's like, "Let's go to work." Like still time to kill, motherfuckers, and just like
woo,
mows down everybody.
Is it hot in here, or is it just me? Time to kill.
Yeah.
Like, what, dude?
And you get this montage basically in the trailer of him just destroying firefighters. Like, first guy, axe. Second guy, you got a first person perspective of his
axe
mask
going straight through his face.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And then you got the guy. You had the same reaction as I did. The Gears of War guy, like, rips the chainsaw.
I'm gonna
out,
rip this chainsaw, and this is gonna solve all my problems. No, dude.
My first reaction was like, in the time you could have dropped that chainsaw and ran away was the way better option. Because instead, he just comes up to you and just buries the chainsaw into your chest.
And dude, it doesn't take long. Like, dude lifts it, and it's like, oh wait, this is turning on me. Oh, it's done. It is a really good work of art, man. Because while this is happening, the scene right before the firefighters getting there is Jamie Lee Curtis being in the back of a truck, seeing the firefighters head that way. That's literally, and she's like, fuck.
That's the very last scene of the movie.
Okay.
Of 2018's movie. You're basically seeing, that's what's the best part about this trailer is, again, it does give you a bit towards the end. There's a couple things I'll point out that I really liked about it, but that part there is literally the end of the 2018 movie, is them getting picked up by a pickup truck and driven away from the house. And then like she hears the fire you get at the beginning of the trailer. Yeah. She hears the sirens and she's like, let him die. Like, let them burn. Yeah. And that's 100% the way they should do it. So a couple things I really like that this trailer has done and what it's introducing. And I knew they were introducing this because I read the dirt sheet stuff.
Yeah,
so I've known what the movie's supposed to be about. But I love that in none of the Halloween so far, this man's gone on multiple killing sprees, and it's never galvanized a town together. Similar to like Frankenstein. It reminded me of like Frankenstein.
Or you're thinking like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Like, to go and be like, we need to find this fucking guy who's killing all of our town, who's like hurting so many people we care about and love.
Yeah, he's been a plague of fear for like the last 30 years.
Yeah.
Like,
and like, I love that it's like, we all come together and it's like, let's hunt this motherfucker. I feel like I was saying this to somebody, I think that in the beginning of Halloween 2, they do something kind of similar, because there's, but I think it's mostly cops. I don't think that it's a lot of people involved in that one. Yeah. Where this is like the whole town coming together, and you get Jamie Lee Curtis's granddaughter is in there with her boyfriend from the first movie, who they had a fight during that, but they've clearly come back together. This is all the same night. Also going to find him, because it's like, I can either live in fear and let him come find me, or I need to go get him. The last thing I really, really enjoyed about it was, I like that they did a good job. Like, you don't see Michael Myers with any of the 3 female protagonists until really like the last 15 to 20 seconds of the 2-minute trailer. So you mostly are like, this is Michael Myers killing all these people. This is what the town's reaction is. And here's a quick little bit that you're going to get towards the later part of the movie.
Just to let you know that shit's going to get real.
Like, of them dealing directly with Michael. Now, knowing there's a third one coming, you know that there's a chance that this one's going to end on some type of a cliffhanger. I think what you more than likely, if I'm going to just get an early guess out,
you're doing early spoilers.
I think that you're probably going to get like the daughter. One of the leads have to die for there to get to the third movie, right? To really leave us at a point.
My vote's on Jamie Lee Curtis.
See, I think it makes it really difficult for a third movie to be as successful with her dead. Okay, right. But I agree that she makes some sense. But it's like, I think it's got to be Judy. What's the daughter in real life? Judy Greer. It's got to be her. It's basically the mother. It's Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter. I feel like she's the one who can't make it out of this one.
Okay. Which would kind of make sense, because then the third one, you've got the granddaughter seeking vengeance kind of thing.
Yeah, and you've got like the final showdown between Michael and Laurie.
Yeah, that would. I mean, it's not a bad right, dude. Yeah, Judy Greer.
Yeah. Can you go back real quick? Did you just look up Halloween or Halloween Kills? When you looked
Halloween
that up?
Kills.
Because I wanted to see the name for the third.
Yeah, I got you. Halloween.
The third. Yeah, just look up Halloween and see if it, because the third one's been announced. Like the 2000, it's got to be. Yeah, no, I guess it's not. Scroll down a little bit. I guess not. They make things way too difficult nowadays with the.
Yeah, I thought it was just me not being able to Google.
Most of the time it is. This is not you.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I think we could have clicked on more titles to match. Needless to say, I am like very, very excited, right? Like I am genuinely looking forward to this. Halloween Ends. That's what it's called.
Okay. Yeah,
so
we got
it's a year later.
Boom. Nailed it.
And as a person, so are you going to now find yourself watching?
Yeah, so I was giving you an opportunity to let your excitement out because I know that you were genuinely excited about this. Upset that your trailer reaction is unfortunately part of the dark tapes. I told you, man, after watching this trailer, I was like, I've got to go watch that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
would you be the type of person, Matt, who would now go? Would you go back to see in order like the first Halloween?
Yeah, I'd go to the first one
and then
watch
go
the
to
2018. Yeah, because at this point, knowing that the movies that followed the first one were written out, now you've got to follow that storyline.
Yeah,
right. And I told you when I'd seen the trailer come out in 2018, I was like, not really excited to go see it. I know it was something that you enjoyed, but watching that trailer has me really excited to catch it, and then to know that there's a third movie coming out, it's just more to give.
A lot of people, like the criticism of the 2018 one is that maybe it's a little paint by numbers, but I don't think that's a bad thing when you've had so many bad movies that come before. You need to establish a foundation and then give me the great movies.
Yeah, you're talking a 30, 40-year difference between what era you're telling the story in. To be able to do that successfully, it
reflects the first movie in some ways. But yeah, dude, I definitely think you should go.
I'm
watch
okay with that. Man. Yeah, you heard it here first, dude. I'm definitely gonna catch it so that I can catch up to you.
Let's pivot though to something a little bit lighter, a little softer.
I guess.
Still red, but not with blood. More with love.
Certainly a lot more red though.
Yeah,
I think that's safe to say.
It's so ridiculous that we're like, this is what we're going to talk about.
No, this is what we were like, yo, we're fighting for this, dude.
Yeah.
We're definitely going. We're talking about Clifford the Big Red Dog, damn it.
We are.
First reaction, Len.
Hey, that motherfucker's huge. Dude. that was my reaction.
I just want to know how big they were going to make him. And then at the end of this trailer, I'm like, dude, he's running across a bridge and he's the only thing I can see.
Well, that was the most interesting part of the whole trailer when I was like, damn, like that's actually a pretty good mode of transportation. like she can get. Like, I assume that there's somewhere that's an emergency that she's like hopped on Clifford's back.
What's the dog mileage on that?
Yeah, well, he's probably gassed.
The dog power.
Like I know how Bailey is after she gets like the zoomies for a couple minutes, dude. Like I guarantee you, Clifford is donezo for like a week after he ran across that bridge.
Dude, I also don't even know like how much it would cost to keep that dog fed. But it's weird because it almost like happens overnight. Like there was no growth period.
Well, keep it fed. He eats another dog.
So. Well, no, he doesn't swallow, so that was a good thing.
He's a spitter.
How do we do this? We don't want to take Clifford the Big Red Dog down a dark turn.
Yeah, Clifford's a big old quitter, dude.
But when you looked at this, man, the first thing I thought is outside of Jack Whitehall, who's a comedian that I'm familiar with, I didn't.
Keenan.
Oh, and Keenan Thompson. Yeah, he was barely in it though. Aside from them, I didn't really know anybody from the cast.
I like Keenan playing it. There's two other. Tony Hale is another person I know.
Okay.
He's the bad guy. Isn't he like in Arrested Development? I think that's where he's from, Tony Hale.
Sure.
Russell Peters is also a comedian,
one season
right?
of Arrested Development.
Yeah, I don't like the show. Russell Peters is a comedian.
Oh, I didn't even know. See, they didn't show Russell. Didn't see Russell in the trailer. So.
Yeah, so Keenan Thompson, I think, is going to be the vet. The veterinarian.
Yeah, he's the comedic relief, I think.
This oddly works. It's not something I would go to the movies to watch, but I think I would give it a watch if it came across my TV screen at some point. I didn't think the dog looked great. It looks a little like on green screen, like CGI.
You mean it looks like it came right out of the book?
It looks like it's just like it looks like it's like plastered onto the screen, kind of. But it looked like it had some funny little bits. I liked the part in the park with the person in the big
and the ball, the bubble ball. Yeah. It looks like it's going to have some funny scenes. If you're asking me if I'm going to go watch it in the theater, this is one of those instances where I'm like, glad my daughter's still young because I don't have to be forced to go watch this in the theater yet.
I think this is one of those movies where if you're a dad or like a mom, you're like, okay, like dude. This isn't the worst movie to go to.
No, put it on a projector, put it on a TV screen. I don't want to take my kid to see this in the theater. No.
When do you think's the appropriate age going to be for you to take your baby to the movies?
I think like 5 is okay.
Can I tell you as like a movie viewer?
Yeah.
Make it like 13.
No, I know you, like moviegoers, me included, hate children in the movie theater.
I hate seeing R-rated movies on the Friday they come out and having some dumb motherfucker bring their kid who's just like crying the entire movie.
And I would associate that with Mark Norman's joke about, oh, people don't want to see a terrorist on a plane. I'd rather see a terrorist on a plane than a baby. Like, it's the same concept, dude.
Well, it's because they hijack. Then you have this. I sit in the back. We've talked about this. I sit in the back, Matt, and you have that weird period where the mom has to just go hold the baby in the back of the movie and like walk them back and forth to calm them down. But they're just standing right behind you the whole time, so it's like they're looking over your shoulder while you're trying to.
I'm trying to watch my porn.
Yeah.
Like, can you give me some
you know,
privacy?
I'm also like I don't watch porn. I'm not like Pee Wee Herman, but like I do watch. Like I was watching like the UFC in the movie theaters like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I got you.
You know?
No, you're not wrong, man. I think kids in the movie theater, it should wait. Mm-hmm. Like, and honestly, if you take them to a movie, don't take them to like a movie that's sold out and all that other crap. Take them to a 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock movie. 3 o'clock the latest if you're a good parent.
Ooh, this
is
where it's nuts, dude. When you roll up to a 9 p.m. showing and there's like toddlers in there,
that's a
and
bad
they're going
parent.
fucking nuts.
Look at me, dude.
But what can you say as like the consumer, dude? Like, there's nothing that I can do about it.
You should have swallowed.
No. I think that.
No, you would never get away with it, man. And it's more so just frustrating because it's like, don't do this. You're a bad parent. But no, man, good on you. I don't think I'll be watching any more Clifford the Big Red Dog trailers.
I feel like I said, I think I'll catch a couple minutes of it. The Keenan Thompson scene I'll probably see or something.
Yeah. Shout out to Jack Whitehall for getting a lead in a movie.
Dude, we've started going progressively longer week after week. We're only doing one pod this week, right? So
I think that's
people will want to stick around for that extra content. Let's get out of here though. I have one closing topic before we do kind of like our what we're gonna watch coming up thing. So Matt, have you paid attention to any sports this week?
Yeah, I mean, I've dabbled in some sports. It would really just depend on what area of sports you're talking about.
I had kind of an either or in this case, a what's worse that I'd like to ask you.
Sure.
So have you saw what happened to Trae Young?
I did.
Okay, so those of you who don't know, it's the Eastern Conference Finals. Trae Young is the best player on the Atlanta Hawks, right?
Someone say he's carrying that.
Yeah,
team
he's doing great. He launches a three, steps back, somehow in like a 1 in a million chance steps on the ref's foot, and it leads to him like getting a bone bruise. He's probably going to miss a game or two, and it could really severely cost the Atlanta Hawks a chance to the NBA Finals.
Yep.
Right. So huge moment. Yep. Right. Have you also seen what happened at the Tour de France this past weekend?
Oh my God, did I? I've already. Can I answer it now?
So no. So for those of you who have not seen the Tour de France this weekend, we have Sign Lady. She says like "I love you, Grandma" or something like that, or like Grandma and Grandpa on a sign. And as a sea of bicyclists are riding past it, the biggest race of the year for them,
the biggest race in history.
Yeah, like the longest running bicycle race that's ever happened.
Oh my God.
She holds the sign out for her 10 seconds of fame, Matt, to say she loves her grandparents. And she clips this poor fucking bicyclist and takes out, like, if anybody's ever seen bike crashes, if you take out one, they're so close together.
It is a domino effect.
NASCAR and bicycle racing is the most trusting sports. Isn't it nuts? Because and it's all relative because it's like a race car driver has all this like metal and like stuff around them to kind of protect them, harnesses, whatever.
Bicyclists going 220 miles an hour.
Bicyclists going 50, 60 on these hills with very little coverage.
Yeah.
And they're
on top of each other.
They're within inches of each other.
Like
so she clips one, she clips all of them.
Gone.
And fucking ruins the race.
If you see the photos of like the sky view, it's at least a mile long. Like, it looks awful. It is carnage,
because there's no way to get the message back.
No. There's no hold. Like, no, you're all going forward.
It's not like golf where you can scream four.
No, man. Yeah. No, you're.
So I ask you,
oh,
Matt.
God.
Trae Young is maybe costing his team an NBA championship. This woman single-handedly in the first day of the Tour de France.
No, man. This is not even close, dude. Trae Young, the referee being on the floor, that's part of the game, right? Mm-hmm. It's nothing you can...
It happens.
It's a freak accident, right? Yeah. This reaching over the line to put a sign out, you don't train for that. So there's no biker being told, hey, man, watch the fans. No, You're told, put your head down, go as fast as you can.
Yeah, you're
tunnel vision to the fullest, my man. And not only did you get taken out, you took out 1 through 150. They couldn't even name a winner, Len. Like,
like they're gonna have to rerun the stage, and people are gonna have flashbacks. You can't run. People aren't gonna want to be on the outside near the edges anymore, Matt.
No, well, you know what she's done? She's ruined it where fans are not going to be able to stand that close anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really what it comes down to.
Because that was one of the coolest parts about the Tour de France, right?
Dude, you could high five somebody if you wanted to.
Well, that would probably cause the same accident.
No, man. No, I don't think so, dude. She put her sign out, and it was all she wrote.
And she got away.
No, I...
Like, this is what's even crazier. We have cameras, and like Europe is notorious for like every street corner has a camera.
It's like that instance where on the highway the guy like swerves because he's looking at his phone, causes a chain reaction, huge pile up behind him,
and he just keeps driving.
No, but then he looks up in his mirror and he's like, "What an asshole!" And just keeps going. This woman got off scot-free.
She is so surprised on the slow mo, like her face, like, "Huh."
Like, I hope my grandparents still saw the sign.
Yeah, I love you, Grandma.
Oh man,
what a moment!
Fuck your grandparents now, dude. That is
sports,
awful, dude. No, would I rather be? I'd rather be Trae Young in this situation, dude.
Yeah.
That's that Snickers.
Well, what's worse?
Because Snickers want to get away moment.
What's worse is the travesty that happened, the calamity at the Tour de France, dude.
Jesus Christ, I don't wish that on anybody, man. Lenny, I know we won't have much time to get into this. I know that you recently saw Fast 9.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
I know. We got to give the people.
I said I wasn't going to do a long review on this anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Give us a 2-minute spiel. How was Fast 9?
It's almost wrong that I put this at the end because it's a franchise I truly, truly do love. I'll just leave it at this. I thought it was a completely acceptable entry. Not the best, not the worst into the franchise. I don't think it's a movie that I can really sell. You know what I mean? And I think that's the difficulty here. Where I said to you, Matt, that like. You can think it's bad, you can think it's good, and I'm gonna respect either decision because I think these movies are either for you, and you can suspend your you can suspend your belief in your imagination can kind of run wild and accept what's the impossible in these movies a little bit. And I guarantee you, man, like this is another movie where they just go another step ahead in the absurdity. I won't lie to you people. This is a movie where there is just absurd things happening left and right. But me personally, as a fan who's accepted all of these things in my heart and just love the cast, and I love people who just seem like they do it out of passion and kind of love it, not so much just out of money because Vin Diesel's got enough at this point. Like,
it's at this point, it's about putting together a project that you enjoy.
I enjoy it. I told you about one specific scene that I won't. I don't think it's a big spoiler. I want to. So I'll walk you through it. So basically, there's the very beginning of the movie. There's an action sequence happening, and Tyrese ends up in a situation where he's surrounded by like 10 or 11 insurgents that are going to kill him, right? And they all start unloading shots at him, and he has a machine gun, and he somehow manages to kill all 11 of them and not get shot at all. And it's like, what the fuck, right? And the next scene is him talking to Ludacris, and forgive me, it's the chick from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Emmanuel
Shikari. No, that's not right.
No, I know who you're thinking about.
That's chick from Entourage.
Shelly Emmanuel or something like that.
So it's her and Ludacris, and like and basicly Tyrese is just like, he's like, can we just like kind of acknowledge something at this point? He's like, we've jumped it, we've fought a tank. You know, we stole a bank and drove it through Brazil.
We parachuted cars from an airplane.
They were like, not to mention battled a submarine. And he's like, I don't have a scar on me. Like, I don't have a scratch on me. He's like, can you just put into perspective where we've come from? Like the streets of Florida to now here.
Okay, from Barstow, baby.
And he's like, I think that, he's like, can we just say it? And they're like, what? We're invincible? He's like, you're just going to say we're invincible? He's like, kinda. Like, he's like, just think about it. We kind of are. And I'm like, dude, this is about as close to breaking the fourth wall and saying.
And this is what my reaction to you was. Yeah. Is something like that would make me want to watch the movie.
Yeah, because like I think they
you've
are laughing at you.
You've acknowledged what you are.
Yeah, dude.
You're not trying to, you're not trying to tell me a story that I'm supposed to believe. To your point, suspend your disbelief and allow yourself to just enjoy the project. Lines like that make it easy.
This
for
is
me
the
to
thing,
tune in.
man. Like you're gonna go and if you watch reviews on YouTube, you're gonna go and find a million fucking reviews on YouTube that are probably from people who are very serious about what they do and are really looking. And I Matt, you shook your head. I don't have a problem with it because I think that it's the same issue when we talk about our scale of how to rank things.
Yeah,
It's the same thing. They have a scale to uphold,
yeah.
and this movie's gonna rank pretty low on the greatest movie of all time rankings. But again, as far as a movie to go to the movie for this summer, it's in movie theaters for this summer, and just kind of forget about like real shit. That's what this is to me. And
that's
if
what it's
you're
supposed to be.
If you love the franchise, you're gonna like this entry, and you're gonna be excited about 10 and 11 coming in the next couple of years. So that's where I'll leave it.
Well, I mean, that's where I'll take it because
Yeah.
you've always been someone who, despite the fact that you love a project, you always break it down to the realest point. So to know that they've acknowledged what they are and we're going to have another 20-mile long runway, I'm with it, dude. Sign me up.
There's a lot of that, yeah.
So going from Fast 9, we talked a lot about trailers today.
Let's look forward.
Let's think about what we're going to watch, Len.
Let's move on to future endeavors.
Yeah, so we talked about a movie, The Tomorrow War.
Yeah, that's dropping this weekend.
That's dropping on Amazon Prime Video.
July 2nd.
Yeah, we're also...
I think that's something we'll talk about next week.
Yeah, we are going to jump on that train
definitely.
next week. Got to see through our trailer, right? Then we're also possibly looking at The Infinite Purge. That's going to be...
It's not The Infinite Purge. That's not the
What
name.
is
I
it?
do notice that you have that written
Sorry.
down there. It's called The Forever Purge.
The Forever Purge. Sorry.
I don't know if you'll see it. I know I'm gonna go see it on Thursday.
I kind of want to.
Okay.
The concept
I just
really
don't know
looks
where you
interesting.
find time is the issue.
Dude, make time.
That comes into play. Good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah, we'll see.
If you get the chance, dude, I think it looks like it's gonna be interesting enough. Was there anything else we'd looked at the list? So my wife and kids
season 1 through 5. Yes,
on
baby.
Hulu,
Hit
dude.
Hulu.
The Wayans brothers back in action, baby.
But no, we were also just talking about, the amount of content that's hitting Netflix on July 1st. Like they've got, everything from the Austin Powers franchise coming back. Air Force One.
Love Actually.
Shout out to Andrew Lincoln.
Yep.
Yeah, there was just a plethora of movies, and then we kind of finished it off with me definitely catching Dynasty Warriors this week.
That was a pleasant surprise.
So expect to have a nice little 5-minute purge of my own when I discuss how much I love that movie.
Yeah. So listen, everybody, I know we're at about an hour and a half in, and if you're still here, we are very, very grateful. Thank you to you. A round of applause in the chat.
You made it.
Thank you so much. I know I had a lot of fun, Matt. You had a lot of fun.
Dude, I don't even want to leave.
Let's leave them with
but we
this,
have
though.
to. Yeah.
Where can they find us?
Well, they can find us at Instagram or on Instagram at For Those With Good Taste.
They can also find us on Twitter at Good Taste Live.
And then they can really just catch us anywhere podcasts can be found. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Play Store. We're all over that
iHeartRadio, Pandora, Deezer, D's Nuts.
D's Nuts. Whether it's in your car, in your home, or in your bed, you know exactly where to find us. Hand over fist, fist to cuffs, fist in you, baby.
Yeah, there we go.
We've taken so many turns.
It's fucking been real out there. Let us know your favorite part.
And make sure to hit us in the chat. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and let us know that you're making it through this heat wave, everybody. Later. We'll catch you next week.
Might not even be cold or hot where you are, but sure. Later. Love you. Peace. Like heat waves don't...
Dude. Everybody who's watching this is going through a heat wave right now.
Okay, well, dude, I think you'd be surprised about our fandom in Belgium.
Bro, I'm going to stop you. Do you know how hot it was in Belgium yesterday?
Why? Let me know.
It's 97 degrees. Belgium...
For those with good taste.